Our next story is from Ukraine. On Wednesday, it came under a punishing barrage of Russian strikes. Strikes that have caused power outages across the country and piled more damage on its already battered power network. According to reports, Russia launched a total of 70 cruise missiles on Ukraine, 70. Out of this, over 51 missiles were shot down, along with 5 exploding drones. Where did these attacks unfold? All over the country. In the capital Kiev, the western city of Lviv, the southern town of Vilnyansk, and the northeastern city of Kupiansk, just to name a few. What kind of damages did the strikes inflict? Besides damaging the critical infrastructure, they claimed the lives of over 10 people and injured over 36 others. Now, before I go any further, I must warn you, the visuals are graphic and disturbing. Look at these images. They are from Kiev. A host of buildings here are either up in flames or charred in ashes. Rescuers are trying to evacuate those who are trapped and haul vast sheets of iron off the roofs. The city's residents, meanwhile, are unable to get over the horror that they have witnessed. Listen to this account of a Kiev resident who almost lost her husband as a result of the strikes.
My husband asked where our documents were. I was very scared. I came running from work. I work nearby. Please excuse me. Thank God he's okay. More or less, he has not been injured. I very much hope everyone else will be okay, but I saw people being carried out of the building. Those who were injured, I do not know if they are alive, but I hope all will be okay.
Similar visuals have emerged from elsewhere. Look at these images now. They are from the southern part of Kiev. Most residential buildings there are engulfed in smoke as firefighters struggle to put the fires out. Their struggle is being amplified by the fact that the strikes have damaged the city's water supplies. In the south especially, most neighborhoods have been left without water.
What is there to hear? The rocket zoomed by, it was strong, the rocket flew all the way near the bridge, and here a blast was heard.
We heard a rocket strike and we saw smoke. The windows in my house blew out and then everyone ran to the subway to hide.
Why do they need to hit an industrial zone? There's nothing there. I work there in the same industrial zone. There are no soldiers. This is probably Russia's high-precision weapon.
And the water supply being disrupted is just one problem. The other and the bigger problem is power outage. You see, these strikes have left the entire Kiev region without electricity because the rockets hit a critical energy facility in Kiev. According to Energoatom, Ukraine's state-owned nuclear operator, the strikes led to the country's last 3 fully functioning nuclear power stations to be disconnected from the power grid in a quote-unquote emergency protection measure. In other words, they were shut down to avoid any untoward incident. The company says they would resume the operations as soon as the power grid is normalized. Petro Kotin, the chief of Energoatom, says the power outage has also disconnected Ukraine's nuclear reactors from the power grid. He says this has happened for the first time in 40 years and has raised the prospects of a quote-unquote nuclear and radioactive catastrophe. Let me say that again, nuclear and radioactive catastrophe. The claims are not far-fetched. Just look at the scale of this power outage. It has engulfed not just Kiev, but also the city of Kharkiv, Lviv, along with parts of Chernihiv, Odessa. In a set of images that have emerged from Kiev, doctors can be seen performing a heart surgery despite the blackout. This happened at the Heart Institute of Kiev. The surgeons were performing a heart operation on a child when they ran out of power. But they did not stop their work and they finished the surgery successfully. In fact, not just Ukraine. Even neighboring Moldova reported a massive power outage. immediately after the strikes unfolded. The country's president has gone on record to say that Russia's missile attack left Moldova in the dark. His claim also is not far-fetched. Look at these visuals now. They are from the capital, Chisinau. On Wednesday afternoon, the city went completely dark due to the strikes in Ukraine. How is that even possible, you wonder? Because Moldova relies on Ukraine's power grid. The country now fears that the power outage was just the beginning, that this war could soon spill over to Moldova in more ways than one. Listen in.
The spillover effects of the war against Ukraine are felt increasingly in the neighboring countries, including the Republic of Moldova. The Russian aggression against Ukraine has by far deeper implications on the Republic of Moldova's security and stability. The continued attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure have left Moldova again in the darkness following a similar incident on November 15. More than 50% of the country was left without electricity. There have been massive blackouts across the country. Water supply was also affected in the pumps were taken out of the order.
So how has Ukraine responded to this attack? What has its president said about it? Well, in a speech to the UN Security Council, he called the attack the Russian formula of terror, one that should see a firm reaction from the world. He called upon the body to deny Russia the right to vote on any decision concerning its actions. Let's now get you the most telling excerpts from that statement.
We are awaiting a very firm reaction of the world to today's Russian terror, response of our partners, response of our friends, not just observers, but a reaction from all those who really recognize the UN Charter. So today is just one day, but we have received 70 missiles. That's the Russian formula of terror. This is all against our energy infrastructure. We cannot be hostage to one international terrorist. Russia is doing everything to make an energy generator a more powerful tool than the UN Charter.
So will the UN Security Council listen to Ukraine's demands? Well, to be honest, it cannot. Russia is a UNSC member with veto powers. It cannot be denied the right to vote, not to the best of our knowledge. So what is the UNSC doing instead? What it does best: issue statements of condemnation. Here's one from the US ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield.
He is clearly weaponizing winter to inflict immense suffering on the Ukrainian people. He has decided that if he can't seize Ukraine by force, he will try to freeze the country into submission. If he gets his way, millions of Ukrainians will be left without power, water, and heat during these cold winter months.
Now, has Russia responded to these remarks? Yes, it has. Speaking at the UN Security Council, the Russian ambassador said that the damage to residential areas in Ukraine was caused by Ukraine's air defense systems itself. How exactly? Because of the fact that they are located in the center of cities and not on the outskirts. Those were the exact words spoken. You have to listen to this.
The damage to residential housing and victims among the peaceful population is indeed caused by the Ukrainian air defense systems, which are not located at the outskirts of the cities, but in the very center. As a result, debris from missiles that hit those places which Russia never targeted. So, for example, today, Ukrainian users posted photos on the internet of missiles that hit residential homes in Kiev. Turns out that those were American air defense missiles, which were supplied to Kiev.
So which side is telling us the truth? Is Russia targeting defense units only, or is it also attacking the civilian areas? Is Ukraine exaggerating the scale of these attacks, or is it actually helpless before the Russian assault? Like every question in this 9-month-long war, these too shall never fully be answered. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.